Goal of your career?
That's the most asked question and all that, and I always give the answer, I don't have a best goal.
Best player that you played alongside?
So Kenny Dalglish, he's fantastic.
The player who was hardest to play against?
In training it'd be Graham Souness, but the most difficult one, Paul McGrath.
The ground you loved most to play at?
After Anfield, Goodison Park.
Ground you hated to play at?
Ian Rush's name is carved permanently into football history as one of the most lethal and consistent strikers ever to grace the sport. From his early days in Wales to his rise as a global superstar at Liverpool, his journey was driven by discipline, instinct, and a quiet hunger to improve. Rush never relied on flashy skills or showmanship. Instead, he mastered timing, movement, and precision. These qualities made him a nightmare for defenders across Europe. His story is a powerful example of how focus and hard work can shape a legend. Growing up in the small town of Flint, Wales, Rush developed his love for football and local youth leagues where passion mattered more than facilities. He learned the game on rough pitches, honing the instincts that would later define his career. His performances at Chester City quickly drew attention from bigger clubs. Liverpool scouts saw something rare in him, a player whose calmness near goal felt almost unnatural for his age. He was quiet off the pitch, but fierce when the ball arrived at his feet. That duality made him special. When Liverpool signed him in 1980, Rush stepped into a world far bigger than anything he had experienced. He was still a teenager, soft-spoken and unsure of his place in a squad full of elite professionals. The English First Division was fast, physical, and merciless. Training alongside icons like Kenny Dalglish, Graham Souness, and Alan Hansen forced Rush to grow quickly. Every session was a battle for respect, pushing him to adapt or be left behind. This period shaped the mental toughness that would later define his prime. After enduring months of intense development, Rush finally found his rhythm. His transformation was remarkable. He evolved into a complete forward, quick, intelligent, composed, and devastatingly accurate. Once he began scoring, the goals flowed effortlessly. Liverpool supporters realized they were witnessing something extraordinary, the rise of a young striker who played with the maturity of a veteran. The shy teenager from Wales was evolving into a footballing force by the mid-1980s. Rush had become the beating heart of Liverpool's attack. His partnership with Kenny Dalglish turned into one of the greatest strike duos the sport has ever seen. Their chemistry seemed telepathic. Dalglish could sense Rush's runs before he even made them. Together, they dismantled defenses across England and Europe with a mixture of intelligence and ruthlessness. Rush's scoring became synonymous with Liverpool's dominance. He wasn't just an important player, he was becoming the club's defining finisher. Titles, trophies, and records soon followed. League titles, FA Cups, League Cups, Charity Shields, and European success became routine for the club. Rush eventually broke the all-time Liverpool goal-scoring record, etching his name into the club's mythology. What made the achievement more impressive was the manner in which he carried himself. Behind every goal was a humble worker who never celebrated more than necessary and always credited the team. His discipline, modesty, and respect for the game elevated him beyond statistics. Rivalries shaped Rush's legacy, particularly in one of football's most competitive eras. Matches against Manchester United were charged with emotion, intensity, and physicality. United's defenders targeted him aggressively, often attempting to intimidate him with harsh tackles. But Rush thrived under that pressure. He developed a reputation for punishing United whenever given the opportunity. Over time, scoring against them became a trademark that defined many of his greatest performances. Across the city, Everton provided another stage for Rush's brilliance. The derby was unlike any other fixture, raw, chaotic, and emotional. Rush haunted Everton repeatedly, becoming one of the most feared derby performers in English football. His 2 goals in the 1986 FA Cup final remained legendary moments. Everton supporters dreaded seeing him, and Liverpool fans cherished his dominance. Few players in history have owned a derby the way Rush owned the Merseyside one. The football of Rush's era was brutal, played with an intensity modern players rarely experienced. Hard tackles, elbows, and confrontations were common. Though Rush was never aggressive, he never backed down. His strength was in his composure. When defenders tried to unsettle him, he responded with goals rather than anger, and that calm ruthlessness earned him respect from teammates and opponents alike. He proved that one could be deadly without being hostile. The move to Juventus in 1987 marked one of the most challenging chapters of Rush's career. Expectations were immense, but Italian football was slow, tactical, and defensively structured. It didn't suit his instinctive style. The language barrier, cultural differences, and isolation weighed heavily on him. Despite his best efforts, he struggled to replicate his Liverpool form. Rush openly admitted that this period was mentally exhausting. He missed home, the Liverpool dressing room, and the freedom of English football. This chapter taught him resilience and humility. Returning to Liverpool in 1988 felt like coming home, but regaining his old place wasn't automatic. The team had evolved, and Rush faced pressure to prove himself again. Critics questioned whether he could return to his previous level. He refused to let doubt define him. With patience, hard work, and determination, he rebuilt his form and once again became Liverpool's leading striker. His comeback showcased his mental strength and refusal to give up. That in 1989 the Hillsborough disaster struck Liverpool with unimaginable grief. Rush, like the rest of the squad, was deeply affected by the tragedy. The city mourned collectively, and football temporarily lost its meaning. Rush stood alongside families and supporters, offering strength in a time of darkness. It was one of the most emotional and defining moments of his life, reminding him that the game he loved was inseparable from the people who cherished it. Liverpool's FA Cup triumph later that year carried immense emotional weight. Facing Everton again, Rush delivered a performance filled with purpose and compassion. His 2 goals played a central role in a victory dedicated to the memory of the 96 lives lost. It was more than a football match. It was a symbol of unity and healing. Few victories in his career meant more than that one. Throughout the early Premier League era, Rush faced new challenges. The game was faster, more tactical, and filled with emerging talent, yet he continued to influence matches with intelligence and experience. Unshakeable strikers sought his guidance, recognizing the wisdom he had earned over decades of competition. Rush evolved from a pure finisher into a leader and mentor, helping shape Liverpool's next generation. As he aged, injuries and physical battles took a toll, but his fighting spirit remained unbroken. Every comeback from injury felt like proof of his resilience. He refused to fade quietly, playing with pride until his final professional days. His career embodied longevity and consistency, traits that separated him from many peers. Off the pitch, Rush's humility endeared him to supporters. He stayed deeply connected to the Liverpool community, always approachable and respectful. His calm personality contrasted with the intensity of his playing style. Even after retirement, he remained a beloved ambassador for the club, representing Liverpool with dignity around the world. When his playing career finally ended, Rush transitioned into new roles: coaching, punditry, and ambassadorial work. Leaving the pitch emotionally wasn't easy. Football had shaped his entire identity for decades, yet he embraced the new chapter with the same quiet discipline that defined his prime. He continued giving back to the sport that gave him everything. Ian Rush's journey is one of battles fought, pressures endured, and greatness earned through persistence rather than ego. His legacy shows that true excellence comes from consistency, character, and heart. He wasn't just one of the greatest strikers in football history. He was a model of professionalism. Decades later, his name still commands respect. Liverpool supporters honor him as a legend, and rival fans remember the fear he once brought to their teams. His influence stretches far beyond statistics. It lives in the unforgettable moments, the iconic goals, and the humility with which he carried himself. Time cannot erase the imprint he left. Reflecting on his career, we see a man who combined quiet strength with extraordinary achievement, a player who faced adversity without losing his identity, a leader who inspired through action rather than noise. Ian Rush's legacy is defined by both what he achieved and the character he displayed through every triumph and every challenge. Thank you for watching this extended tribute to Ian Rush, one of football's greatest icons. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite Rush moment. Your support helps us continue telling the stories of legendary players who shaped the beautiful game.